I'll close the door because I don't want to ruin anything.
Okay, we are recording. This is session 12.5 for Talio. Today is 11/7/2018.
Yep. So Clayton can hear this as well.
Oh, yeah.
This is a one-on-one session, Clayton. I felt that this was needed for the character development of Talio and the situation that he was in. And it just seemed necessary. We'll just say that. Okay. So you can do this if you want. You can. I want you to, if you want to, state the prayer as Talio would, and then roll a d20.
Okay, so Clayton, basically what's happening, you're probably listening to this right after episode 12, part 2.
Yeah.
So basically, Talio has just seen his beloved that he loved once 50 years ago who died at the hands of, now we see that it was malice through his brother as the liaison. And he sees her body suspended in a chamber of liquid that seems to be keeping her body preserved. Well, seeing this, Talio is not the most mentally stable character anyway, but this has kind of pushed him over the deep end a little bit. So, like, knowing that his patron, he's a warlock, knowing that his patron is the master over the transition of death, he's going to ask a favor. So he just closes his eyes, Raven flies to his shoulder, and he just says, "My lady, I know our relationship is one of mutual benefit, and I thank you for the gift you bestowed upon me. Without you, I would not be here. For the last 50 years, I have acted as your blade in the shadows on the material plane and fervently destroyed unholy abominations wherever I found them. I gladly do this because they have perverted the natural order and heinously encroached upon your domain. My greatest tribulation was losing the woman I loved. I beg you, please bring Nye back to me and keep her safe. I offer my everything for this. Take whatever payment from me you desire."
Okay, roll a d20. Oh, roll a d20 with advantage. And I was going to give you advantage, and I was going to state this to Clayton and whoever else would be listening. You were getting advantage. Sometimes DMs give advantage just for fun. But in this situation, advantage, I gave you advantage because, like you said in your prayer, you have stayed faithful for 50 years to the Raven Queen. And you have stayed true to your character in this moment. In that last fight, you did not attack Nye until you knew it was not her, and you pretty much refused to attack your brother until the situation at hand revealed itself. So that's staying true to your character and being faithful to the Raven Queen all these years. I feel as a DM, you deserve to have advantage. So what did you roll?
17 was the higher roll.
Sweet. Okay.
Did I do it, DM Simon?
Huh?
Did I do it, DM Simon?
No, I'm not going to tell you anything yet.
He said no.
Okay, so as you stare at the pristine, lifeless body of Nye, and you whisper your prayer, you have your raven come and fly to your shoulder and land, and it gives a single caw. Your vision begins to blur, and the darkness begins to swallow you and Nyannis. Several seconds pass in this blackness. Outside of this realm, inside of this realm, it feels like several weeks. When you feel a very familiar sensation that comes over you. You felt this before. It's very comforting to you in a way. A pale white mask of a beautiful woman forms, causing ripples in the darkness in front of you. This mask is massive. It's like 20 feet tall, and you stand looking up at it. You hear, "My beloved Talio, my unfailing servant, your prayers never go unnoticed. It seems you call to me with pain and anguish in your heart. I have heard your prayers and wish to test you." The mask sinks back into the darkness as a single raven feather falls and lands in your hand. You look down at it. Nyannis has disappeared from your view. And when you look back up, you are now standing in front of your old home, watching as your brothers and your father fight the intruders that would eventually kill them. You see two hooded figures standing beside your third brother, that you now know is the Rook, pleading, who, the brother, is pleading to these two figures to not kill the one he loves. And in front of the two figures, you see your mother and Nyannis standing there, and not standing there scared or afraid or anything like that. You know them better as that. They're standing there in front of these two figures as strong and unmoving, accepting that their fate may be upon them, and they remain fearless, just as the women you once remembered. You hear a soft voice of your queen whisper in your ear that you have 3 choices. You can attempt to kill the 3 figures standing before your family. You can choose one of your loved ones to save right then and there and flee. Or you can accept that what has happened in the past can no longer be changed and watch the scene unfold. What do you choose?
Oh man. He looks down, he grabs his daggers, he looks at him, he looks up at the carnage, he just sheaths the daggers, and he says, "You can't change what's already been done. I ask for the future."
Okay, you wait a few seconds as the queen says nothing, and you watch the scene of your family's murder unfold in front of you. You see the brothers and the father die at the hands of assassins. You see their bodies mangled and torn apart, just like before. You
Falls
see
to his knees.
Naturally. You see the figures, the 2 hooded figures, bring your brother to his knees and kind of hold him there as you see the more prominent figure of the 2, that is hooded that you cannot see, walk up to Nye and your mother and place his hands on their hearts and send a pulse through them as their bodies collapse dead.
He just grabs his chest.
At the sight of this, naturally, all the emotions of pain and anguish further in you as the figure turns and looks directly at you. There's an unbelievable amount of fear and evil and hatred that comes as like a wave that hits you from this person. And the feelings are mutual in that you too have the feeling of hate and revenge and retribution towards this person. You don't know who it is. After watching this scene unfold for what seems like days, you awaken to blackness once again as the queen appears in front of you, and if she could smile with this mask, she would. Naturally, it's a mask, so she can't smile, but you get the feeling of joy, and she's impressed with your resolve, we'll say that. She thanks you for your trust and recites that the first commandment of Raven Queen followers is to hold no pity for those who have suffered and died, for death is a natural end of life, and that you made the correct decision in going back, despite the pain you feel now. She then states that there is a way to revive your loved one. At this current time, it is not possible with the tools that you have. In order to do this, she requires 2 things. She requires the completed blood core jewel that is in the possession of King Eden. Those 3 jewels, there's a multitude of jewels that Vestron had a fraction of one, and then when y'all fought and killed his brother and stuff like that, they revealed to you in that letter that 3 of the 5 had been collected. Vestron was the 4th, and there was 1 more. Those form what is known as the blood core jewel, and Eden is currently in possession of it. And the second thing that it requires is the willing soul of a loved one, or that she requires. She says, collect the jewel and return to the Queen's domain to attempt the resurrection. From there, she gets really close to you, puts her hand on your face, and then disappears within the blackness as ripples fade. And you wake back up, standing right where you were at, with this sense of anger, hate, retribution, revenge, malice, all this towards that figure. But at the same time, for the first time in a very long time, there is hope and happiness in your heart, thanks to your patron. Do you want to do anything else?
Just whisper, thank you.
Is that all?
I want to pat the bird's head.
All right, sweet. We're gonna end there. We're gonna stop there. It went by fast. You did good. You did good. That was only like 10 minutes.